Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now the beginning of October of 2022, and with other shows out there on the horizon like The Bad Batch 2, Tales of the Jedi, Ahsoka, Mando 3, and a whole lot more by FAVREAU and Filoni, a lot of Star Wars fans are also getting very excited for exactly how things are going to turn out with the new Star Wars Legends lore that's going to be made canon by both FAVREAU and Filoni. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars updates. Also, by the way guys, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support. It is greatly appreciated. Now, one major aspect of the Disney Star Wars universe that a lot of fans are indeed embracing right now is exactly how things are going to turn out for The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4, given that they are being worked on back-to-back. Let's not forget about that. Now, we have a lot of things in store by FAVREAU and Filoni when it comes to cameos. FAVREAU himself even said a couple of weeks ago that he plans on introducing a lot of surprising and unexpected cameos in future Mandalorian episodes, and that's pretty much the overall structure so far that Lucasfilm has been focusing on with these new shows, except for Star Wars Andor, by the way. Andor is kind of dropping the whole cameo craze, and some fans may very well respect that. But other shows out there that are being driven by FAVREAU and Filoni are going to heavily feature a lot of cameos that will eventually blossom into other Star Wars TV shows out there and the like. Now that brings us to exactly what's been going on right now behind the scenes when it comes to Samuel Jackson and his return as Mace Windu. As we have discussed about this for a very long time, it is happening behind the scenes, and seemingly a Lucasfilm spokesperson accidentally let it slip that Mace Windu is indeed coming back to the Star Wars franchise. Let's get into it. Now, with Disney executives now actively developing their new Star Wars universe with FAVREAU and Filoni, it's described that with creators now focused on bringing in legacy characters again, recently a Lucasfilm spokesperson was beginning to talk more about the future of Star Wars when questioned about FAVREAU and Filoni's approach to the Star Wars brand. He went on to reveal to the fans by stating the following: "We have been working very closely with John and Dave's vision on the franchise. What Disney has been doing is something that will truly evolve the franchise, and we couldn't be more excited to explore some of the hidden stories related to those, like Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, Mace Windu, Din Djarin, and even Grogu. But most importantly, Anakin Skywalker. In addition, these characters that we will be exploring in new canon installments are going to be inspired from older material that was approved by Mr. Lucas many years ago." Now, separate from what Lucasfilm's spokesperson stated here, by seemingly accidentally letting it slip that Mace Windu will be a focus in the future of the franchise, he is set to return in The Mandalorian 4 as an elderly version of himself, as well as in the reboot of the Kenobi TV show that will still be treated as a Season 2. Now, let me just pause here quickly for a second. For those of you that are very well unaware about what's been going on with the return of Mace Windu for the Star Wars franchise, is that their overall game plan, John and Dave that is, are to give us two different versions of Mace. A post-Revenge of the Sith version where we are finally going to be able to witness how he survived the fall and what his life was like after the events of Revenge of the Sith, surviving as a Jedi and dealing with his injuries by the hands of Palpatine. And then we're also going to be getting another version of Mace, a very elderly version of Mace Windu, almost Yoda-like, very immobile, housed up in a temple, or in a hut, whatever it may be, a cave, etc. That kind of Mace Windu is what they are preparing for in The Mandalorian Season 4. You guys can do the math. He would be very, very old, you know, since The Mandalorian Season 4 is going to take place at least a couple of years after Mando 3. We're not quite sure exactly just yet, but it gives you an idea of how old Mace is going to be. So that brings us to the next biggest, addition to Star Wars, is that FAVREAU and Filoni are already taking a lot of the leftover storyboards from the Kenobi movie trilogy that were actually, of course, abandoned and never used by Kathleen Kennedy. that are now being implemented into the soft reboot of the Kenobi TV show. Now, a lot of those storyboards, believe it or not, actually involve the return of Mace Windu. It's one of the main reasons why Stuart Beatty's Kenobi trilogy was shot down by Kathleen Kennedy. She felt that at the time, Mace Windu being in a Kenobi show wouldn't make all that much sense. Or in a Kenobi trilogy at the time, I should say. So, what they're doing is that they're salvaging all of the different aspects of Beatty's scripts and or storyboards, I should say, that were supposed to be used in the scripts, and throwing that into the Kenobi series reboot. So let's be clear, is that they had initial plans for the Kenobi trilogy. They only got the script of the first movie done, but extensive storyboards that were finalized for the scripts of the second and third movie were already complete, many of which had the return of Mace Windu. So that's all going to include itself into the soft reboot of the Kenobi series. Now, Samuel L. Jackson, alright, I don't know if you guys saw the thing he posted on Instagram a couple of months ago. I think it has been since deleted. He really kind of created a tease of Mace Windu's return, saying something along the lines of, my hero is not over yet, or something like that. And it got deleted. We haven't really seen it since on his Instagram. I believe it actually may have been one of the highlights on his Instagram stories, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a lot of things happening. So moving forward from all of that, Samuel L. Jackson has already been in the talks with Favreau and Filoni about his planned scenes for the second season of Obi-Wan that will fully explain his survival by the hands of Emperor Palpatine in Revenge of the Sith. Now, Lucasfilm is also pre-planning a Mace Windu TV show, still that has been in the early development phase since 2019, that is now finally picking up so that the fans can finally witness a brand new story of one of their fan-favorite characters in the Star Wars universe. Now, the thing that really makes me happy about this is that George Lucas is going to be involved with the return of Mace Windu in the Kenobi series reboot. Now, Ewan McGregor slightly gave us a hint about the return of Obi-Wan, stating how he's been in the talks with John and Dave about a specific special return. We're not quite sure what that meant at the time, but it's pretty apparent what it means now. Now, when you look at characters like Mace, there's something so special about him, and it really is coming to the realization to a lot of fans now that seemingly Lucasfilm has this streak of bringing back characters either from the dead or just generally characters that fell from a very, high area down to the ground, or wherever they ended up being, are now coming back to life. The first biggest one was Darth Maul. The second one was, of course, Palpatine. Then we got Boba Fett. Then we got, of course, now in this scenario, Mace Windu. A lot of characters that fall to their apparent deaths ended up actually coming back or never really died. And that really is becoming a theme almost, becoming almost a poetic thing in Star Wars, and it almost seems intentional to say the least. So, with that being said, guys, I think that the return of Mace Windu is not a big problem at all. Some fans may have an issue with that, but if they brought Palpatine and, Darth, Maul back, it just is fine with me. So overall, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.